When your parrot lifts one foot and settles onto a single leg the moment they see you, do you actually know what that means? Sure, it looks like they're just getting comfortable. But behind that simple shift in balance, there's something most owners completely overlook. It's one of the clearest signals your parrot can give you. And if you ignore it, which most people do, you might be missing the one way they're telling you they feel safe. Let's start with what that single leg stance really is. 1. They're not just resting. Here's a question most people never think to ask. If your parrot was just tired, why do they always seem to lift that foot right when you walk into the room? Why not 5 minutes earlier when you weren't there? Because this isn't only about comfort. It's about trust. A bird that pulls one foot up is putting itself in a slightly weaker position. That foot is no longer ready to grip a branch and launch into flight if something goes wrong. In the wild, a parrot only does this when it feels completely safe from predators, because a bird balanced on one leg is a split second slower to escape. So when your parrot does it the moment they spot you, something in their brain has already decided you're not a threat. That decision isn't random. It's communication. And here's what makes this even more interesting. Parrots don't drop their guard like this for everyone. If you've noticed your bird tucking that foot up more around you than around other people in the house, that's not coincidence. That's preference. That's your parrot telling you, in the only way they know how, that you're safe to be near. Most owners see this and think the bird's just relaxing and move on. But you're not most owners. Now you know this is your parrot trusting you. And if your parrot has never once stood on one leg around you, don't skip ahead just yet. What that might mean is coming in the final section, and it's worth hearing. 2. It's also keeping them warm. Have you ever wondered why a parrot would even bother tucking one foot up in the first place? It's not just about trust. There's a physical reason too. A parrot's feet have no feathers covering them, which means they lose body heat fast, much faster than the rest of their body. By pulling one foot up into their warm belly feathers, your parrot is cutting that heat loss in half. It's a built-in way of staying warm without using any extra energy. This is why you'll often see it more on cooler days, or right before your parrot settles in for sleep, when conserving energy matters most. But here's the part most owners miss. Comfort and trust are linked. A parrot that's stressed, alert, or unsure of its surroundings won't tuck that foot up, even if it's cold, because some part of them stays ready to move. So when you see your parrot warming that foot up around you, they're not just regulating their body temperature. They're telling you the environment feels calm enough to let their guard down completely. Now, before we keep going, if you're learning something new about your bird, hit like and subscribe. It helps other parrot owners find this. And honestly, more people need to understand what their birds are quietly telling them. 3. It's how they sleep, and it says a lot about their health. Did you know the one-leg stance isn't just a daytime habit? It's actually your parrot's normal sleeping posture. A healthy, well-balanced parrot pulls one foot up under its belly feathers to sleep, gripping the perch firmly with the other. If you ever touch that tucked foot after your parrot has been resting a while, you'll notice it feels surprisingly warm, sometimes almost hot, because it's been insulated against their body the whole time. Here's where it gets useful for you as an owner. This posture is actually a quiet health indicator. A parrot that feels physically unwell will often stand on both feet instead, because lifting one leg requires a level of balance and confidence a sick or uncomfortable bird doesn't have. So if your parrot suddenly stops doing their usual one-leg stance and starts standing flat on both feet for an extended period, it's not nothing. It's worth paying attention to. And if it continues, worth mentioning to an avian vet. The behavior you've probably dismissed as just a sleepy bird habit is actually one of the simplest ways your parrot tells you, I feel fine and I feel safe here. 4. Why they do it more for some people than others. Ever notice your parrot tucks that foot up and fully relaxes the second you're nearby, but stays flat-footed and alert around someone else in the house? That's not random, and it's definitely not about who fills the food bowl. Parrots are selective about who they fully relax around, almost ruthlessly so. Standing on one leg requires your parrot to believe nothing bad is going to happen in the next few seconds, and that belief isn't handed out equally to everyone in the home. The people a parrot trusts most get more of this relaxed posture, more settled silences, more time spent simply existing calmly nearby instead of staying alert. So if your parrot stands tall and watchful when your partner walks by, but melts into a one-leg stance the second you sit down near the cage, that's not coincidence. That's trust, and it's been earned specifically by you. Now here's the part that might sting a little. If you're on the other side of this, if your parrot relaxes fully for someone else but stays alert around you, it doesn't mean they dislike you. It just means you haven't reached that level yet. Parrots need consistency, calm energy, and time before they hand over that kind of trust. It's earned, not given. 5. The stance that happens the moment you wake up. Have you ever walked over to your parrot's cage first thing in the morning and found them already standing on one leg, half asleep, completely unbothered by you approaching? That's not a coincidence either. Parrots are naturally alert at dawn, and many have already been awake for a while by the time you appear. They could plant both feet down the second they sense movement nearby. But a parrot who stays in that relaxed one-leg stance as you approach is telling you something important. They didn't feel the need to brace for anything. Behaviorists who work with companion birds describe this kind of morning ease as one of the clearest signs of a secure bond, because mornings are when a bird's guard would naturally be highest after a full night alone. If your parrot stays loose and one-legged as you walk up, rather than snapping both feet down and going on alert, that's them telling you, "I wasn't worried," because it's you. If you live alone with your bird, this might seem completely normal. But watch what happens with a stranger in the room. Most parrots won't offer that same relaxed greeting to someone they don't know. 6. Why they do it right in front of you, almost like a display. Ever notice your parrot doesn't just casually stand on one leg somewhere quiet in the cage, but does it right at the front, right where you're guaranteed to see it? This is an accidental positioning. Parrots are highly aware of where you are and what you're looking at. Some behaviorists believe this front and center one-leg stance doubles as a quiet confidence display, your bird essentially showing off how relaxed and unbothered they are, almost daring anything to interrupt that calm. Think about it from their side. They could rest anywhere in the cage, tucked in a corner, on a back perch, somewhere you'd barely glance at. But they don't. They pick the spot closest to you. This is a mix of comfort and a subtle bid for attention. Your parrot is essentially saying, "Look how at ease I am around you." And most owners respond exactly the way the bird hopes, with a glance, a soft word, maybe stepping closer. That response matters more than you'd think because it reinforces the entire behavior. Every time you notice and react warmly, you're confirming to your parrot that this display gets seen. 7. What it means if your parrot never does this. So what if your parrot never stands on one leg around you? What if you've been watching this whole video thinking, "Mine always stays flat on both feet"? First, don't panic. This doesn't automatically mean something is wrong, but it is worth paying closer attention to. Parrots that consistently avoid this relaxed stance around their owners usually fall into one of a few situations. Either they don't feel fully secure in their environment yet, there's an underlying physical discomfort making balance difficult, or they simply haven't had enough calm, low-stress time around you to let their guard down that far. Remember what we covered earlier. This posture requires your parrot to believe nothing bad is coming. If their environment feels loud, unpredictable, or tense, that belief never fully forms. The good news, this can change. Start by paying attention to your bird's overall comfort. Keep their space calm and predictable. Spend quiet time near the cage without demanding interaction, just letting your presence become familiar and unthreatening. Over time, many parrots begin to soften into this posture as trust builds. But if your parrot has always stood on one leg and suddenly stops doing it, especially alongside fluffed feathers, low energy, or reduced appetite, that's a different signal entirely, and one worth checking with an avian vet. Give it time, stay consistent, and watch what starts to change.